Okay, welcome to the Black Educated Tea Podcast, where we have discussions on Black women and how we navigate through life and education. I am your host, Makita Marie. Today's discussion is simply titled The Business. Now, when I say the business, this lady right here, she's going to tell you what the business means because she's all about handling her business. Nicole Tard is our guest for today. This amazing woman has a bachelor's in business, a master's in business. She is operating two businesses here. So that's why I said she's all about the business. She's all about handling her business. And on top of that, she has been awarded not one, but two, but many exemplary English awards. Now, when I saw that, I was like, okay, now. I'm like, okay, because I can use some practicing on my English and the proper way to speak. And
it just came by accident, and it became a thing.
That's a good thing to have. So that is amazing. So I definitely want to get into these two businesses. So the first business, y'all going to love this title. Her nonprofit, which is Strongly Flavored. Now, you know we usually say highly blessed and strongly favored, right?
Or highly favored.
And strongly, how does it go? Help me out.
It's usually highly favored and strongly blessed.
Something like that, huh? Yeah, I think that's it. I think you're right. I was on the right track. I
have it out. But I was trying to incorporate it together.
So that title alone, it should tell you everything you need to know about that business. Just this the title. When I heard that title, I was like, okay, we got a winner here. We do. Her second business, Lotus Rising. I think this is also another big. First off, both of your businesses with Strongly Flavored. It's all about baking, but not only is it about baking, but it's about teaching young kids, young students, young adults how to incorporate baking into their daily lives, these life skills. Now, that's another thing she wants to do with Strongly Flavored that I am really all for. That's incorporating this into schools.
Right, with wellness.
Yeah, because it's missing in schools right now.
It's really missing because mental health is one of the big things right now. And I think the biggest things that I was looking for was to incorporate mental health along with baking or cooking, because during COVID, I think that's when it really pushed off to me.
Yep.
And there are so many kids that you start seeing, they were cooped up in the house and they weren't really doing as much like in school and being involved with other people. And, you know, kids get depressed and bored really easily. And so I started reading some things and looking on the internet, and it became whereas you saw it was proven that people were actually baking and cooking more to relieve stress. And I thought about it. I said, well, I like to bake. And I was thinking about the kids so much. I said, this is something that you could probably put in the school system right now.
Yeah, because it's needed. It's not offered. I don't know at what point they decided to take this out of the school. But when I was in school, we had culinary, you know. But at some point, they decided to take it out. I'm like, you know, this is a basic life skill that kids need to know.
Home ec was important.
Yeah.
Because we needed it. Because they can't cook eggs, a basic egg, boil
water.
It's microwave and air fryer, everything.
That's it. Throw it in the toaster. Throw it in the air fryer. Throw it in the microwave. I don't even like to use my microwave like that.
No, I don't.
You know, just the taste and the flavor of the food is either soggy or is the texture is just not right.
It's just the quick fix.
Yeah,
you want it right away.
It's the go-to for kids. It's all about quick. Microwave, toaster, you know, throw it in the air fryer.
Right.
Set the timer, bam, you know.
2 minutes.
2 minutes and it's done. So I just want to congratulate you definitely on that, because I think that is really needed in our community. And then her second business, Lotus Rising.
Oh yeah.
Please explain, because the name is, to me, it gives me rising vibes. It gives me the sunshine. It you know.
It's supposed to, because it's about wellness too. It actually happened when we had the ice storm.
Okay.
And the power went out. And I started researching candles, and I saw whereas candles, a lot of them are bad for you. But then you have to get the right kinds. You have to look. Yeah. So there's soy and coconut blend, and then there's the paraffin and beeswax and all of them. And they all let out these different emissions on each one. But I wanted to do that. I was like, I'm buying all these candles. I might as well start making them. We spending all this money.
Make them yourself. Put what you want to put in them.
Right. But then at the same time, I'm going on a spiritual journey at the same time. And I'm trying to, right.
Amen to that.
And I said, well, why not incorporate that like you have here, your spiritual tree? And I was thinking more of that to, incorporate crystals into it and herbs and things to give you more wellness and spiritual feelings and positivity and abundance and just give you that whole feel. And I said, instead of buying them all the time, make them myself.
Make them yourself.
And go from there. Add some ambiance to your house.
And you can do it like you want to. Like you said, you can, if you want rose quartz in this one, so you can add the crystals how you want to based on the energy you want for this candle.
Right.
I think that is an amazing idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really saying, I think this year is really the year that a lot of us tap into our spirituality, the year that we grow, especially for women.
And I'm going to say, I blame COVID that we woke up.
And I am okay with that because, so many negative things came from COVID. I am happy to say that is at least one positive thing that came out of COVID. That we're tapping into that spirituality. We're becoming one. We're focusing on our wellness, finding different ways, especially with your candles, to protect yourself, your environment, your family, or whatever. I love candles. But like you say, if they're not healthy, you're breathing these things in. So I want to breathe in that good energy.
Right.
I want to breathe in that coconut, So that's what I want to do. So before we get started, because this introduction alone was amazing. Okay. But before we get started, I want us to go ahead. Because each podcast episode, we always have our tea. Here today, we have the protection tea. And I think this tea was right on time because we are definitely protected today. And not only are we protected, but we are highly favored.
Yes, indeed.
So we're going to go ahead and just take a sip of this or whatever, this protection tea, so we can give y'all a review on it. So it is definitely subtle. Has a sweetness to it.
Reminds me of a hibiscus.
Yeah, even the color.
Mm-hmm.
Even the color. So yes, this protection tea is definitely a go-to. And I always like to just say, before we get to the tea, about your tea, we got, drink our tea first. We got to sip the tea first. So we got our protection tea here that we can continue to sip on. So one of the first things I do want to ask you, which it's not even necessarily a question, it's just, with your whole education and background being in business, it was only right that you was going to own and operate your own business at some point. So at what point did it click for you that, okay, I'm in corporate, but then I still want to do my own business as well? At what point did you get that established, I would say?
Believe it or not, that happened by accident too. A lot of things happened to me by accident.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But at first I wanted to be a pediatrician, but But it kind of happened. I said, well, if I can't stay in the medical field and help people like I want to, where else could I go and still feel fulfilled on something I wanted to do?
Okay.
So I said, well, thinking of everything, I think I'd feel better working in the corporate world at first.
Okay, as we always,
and so,
that's the first go-to a lot of times.
Right, so that's like you're putting your feet in the water kind of thing for you before you start your own business. You kind of see how it is, and then you know what's going on, and then you're able to see it from your own aspect, and then you want to do it yourself. You're like, I can do my own business.
And I can probably do it better than they do.
Right.
So why can't I?
You know the little ins and outs a little bit. And so at that point, I think for me, it turned as, I know what I need. I know how to do this part. And so why not incorporate it into my own business? It's basically a passion for you. Mm-hmm. And so when you're in corporate, evidently that was somebody's passion to start.
Oh, yeah. They had a vision. And like you said, it was their passion. So it's like, now I need to concentrate on what my passion is. And, and I think it's really wonderful the fact that you just stuck with business this whole time. Because like myself, my degrees are education. Not necessarily entrepreneurship, business.
But you love it, and that's a passion.
It's a passion, and I still even try to incorporate, my businesses and stuff with education. But the fact that you just stuck with, business, from this degree to that degree to business owner, I think that's absolutely wonderful. You never steered away from business.
I actually did. And I thought about it. I said, okay, now I have this HR degree. What do I do now? I'm like, I still want to work with people. I still want to be in business.
You made it work. You made it work for yourself, which I think that a lot of us, need to do. Because entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
It's not.
It's, it's an acquired taste. But just the freedom of entrepreneurship, doing things how you want to do, when you can see your vision just being played out. Some people are okay with corporate. Corporate is totally fine if you fit that mold. So do you think that, say 10 years from now, do you still see yourself being in corporate, or do you want to be just more of managing and operating your own mega business?
10 years from now, I will not be in the corporate world. I think at some point you want to do it for yourself. Yeah. As for me, it's more so an accomplishment for me. I want to be able to build my own, and at some point show my own children how to create their own for generational wealth. Because the corporate company you're working for, they're building for their families. Of course. You want to do it for yourself. And so with these things I'm going on with the Strongly Flavored and with Lotus Rising, maybe they'll see it and push towards something. They'll see me doing it and then they'll push, or either join in and we build higher.
Yep.
But that's the goal.
I would say that's definitely the goal, because our kids are like sponges. So when they see us doing and acting out things, they tend to follow that. Mm-hmm. So they like, man, mom got all these degrees. She working, she multitasking 2 businesses. She still handling, managing us. First of all, how's mom doing all of this? She's doing a lot. But on top of that, she's leading by example. So now I know that I can go to school, get the degrees, and then I can still own and operate my own business and be successful. So I think that is really good. Another question I want to ask. Okay. This is pertaining to nonprofit, because a lot of people are really interested in starting a nonprofit, and some people, I've been hearing it for years, like, I want to start a nonprofit. What do I do? What should I do? What made you want to start a nonprofit?
I wanted to give back to the community. I've always wanted to get back to the point where we help the Black community. I think that we've steered away from that, and everything is money driven. And I didn't really want to just go and say, we charging this. No, I want to help your child. We're still supposed to be that family niche where we used to be, where the community used to be. Yep. Everybody was there for everybody else's kids. It didn't matter.
In the neighborhood, in the community.
But it's not like that no more.
It's not.
And so now I want to try to see if I can start at least be a part of bridging it back. Maybe the next person will. But we want to get back to the point where we get our kids back on track. Pay attention to other kids, pay attention not to just your own and be inside your own bubble.
Right.
But also make sure you're okay.
Exactly.
And if you're not paying attention, I may see something and mention it to you about your child, or they are just afraid to say something, or my child may notice something. I think it's just time that we give back to the community and get back together. But
I think so. I think because that whole family community thing is we're losing it. We are losing that battle right now. And I definitely always pray, and I just stay hopeful that at some point we do get that community back, that family back. There was once a time everybody in the neighborhood knew each other. You knew each other's kids. If you saw somebody's kid doing something, you could say something to them.
Grandmama would call the next neighbor and tell them, I saw your baby
doing this.
And they weren't going to get into it
at all.
They were just going to be okay and go to the baby and say something.
Yep, there was going to be adults about it. Well, you know what? I can't get to them right now, but if you saw them doing, you get them.
Right. And I'm okay.
I'm going to get them again.
Right. And they going to act right then.
Yeah, we have just, it's to the point we can't even say anything, to kids now. And it's really a shame. We are losing our community. So I think that is great advice for anybody that's trying to start a nonprofit. First off, starting a nonprofit, you have to have the mindset that you want to give back to the community. You have to have the mindset of giving. It's all about giving with the nonprofit. Not saying that it's still going to make you feel accomplished. It's still a business, bottom line. You still are owning, you still are operating a business, but it's still about giving back. Right. The thing with a nonprofit, when you're giving, you're going to get that back.
Yeah.
You're going to get that back in so many ways. You know, it's going to be warm and heartfelt. So you're going to get it back in so many ways when you're giving. So definitely kudos to that, because you're on the right start with your nonprofit. So one last question.
Okay.
One last statement. I won't even say a question. One last statement I just want you to give to the listeners. What advice would you give to any young ladies interested in getting a business degree and starting a business? What advice would you give to them?
It's not easy, so don't be hard on yourself in the beginning if you fail. Starting a business is hard. When you first start, you're going to have a million ideas. It's okay. You're going to come back to it. It's been proven that in the beginning, when you first start a business, it may fail. If you do great, that's fine, but don't be so hard on yourself. Go back to it. Do a thought process. Look at it. Step back from it. It'll go through. If that's really your passion, it will go through.
Amazing words, because I live by that. If it's my passion, I'm going to continue to do it. You know, even if I'm trying to, I fail. I'm picking myself up. I'm still going to continue to do it, because I'm like, this is my passion. You can't let your passion go.
Right.
There are some things in life, if I know they're not for me and I try it and it just don't fit or it just doesn't feel right, you'll know.
You'll know.
Because it's like at that point you're trying to force yourself to do it.
And then it don't feel good.
It don't feel right. You're like, you just even dread. It's like, oh, I gotta
wake
do
up
this
in the
again.
morning and you don't. You rather do something else.
Yeah, it's like, I gotta do this. I gotta get up and do this again. Man, I gotta go have.
That's how I got with the corporate world.
It gets to that point.
It gets to the point you start feeling like,
I gotta wake up and do this again.
I'm doing this for somebody else and not myself.
And it's not even fulfilling.
Right.
You know, it would be different if I was doing this for somebody else, but then I still enjoy it. But the fact that I'm no longer enjoying it, I'm no longer seeing any growth with this. It's like, so then it's at that point, like, this is not my passion.
Right.
Because I have tried several things, and I had to force myself to do it. Then I was like, Makita, this probably just ain't for you.
Right.
If you gotta force yourself to do it. Because if it's your passion, it comes naturally.
If you're happy about doing it every day, it don't matter. It's for you.
It's for you.
It's actually for you. It may not be good days every day, but if it makes you happy, it's for you.
It's for you. And then you will appreciate those days that are not good. Because I look at those as I'm learning during this process. So next time I know what to do, what not to do. So even those days I don't enjoy, I still take them as, opportunities to learn something. So I think that's just absolutely amazing. So y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to the Black Educated Tea Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Makita Marie. We want to give the lovely, the graceful Nicole Tart a wonderful thank you for being a part with us today. This has been an amazing conversation. Just the whole business. That's why I said it's going to be titled just simply The Business. Because you can see she's about the business in so many different ways. I mean, you can't get no more business with her. This is all about the business. So again, thank you all. Please stay tuned. This is the Black Educated Tea Podcast.